We'll come back to that tune later. Lesson 14, here we go. I'm Kenneth Sribnick, and this is the Alto Recorder Lessons Project. I love this lesson. Please give it the time it needs, though, which may be as much as 2 of our previous lessons. Our new note is high C. It's the second ledger line above the staff, just as you see in the unit header. The fingering is almost the same as the lower C you learned back in Book 1. You've learned that the top number is how many beats are in a measure. The bottom number, you'll remember, tells us which kind of note is one beat, a quarter note, a half note, or whatever. When we sight read, we want our eyes to glide along the line of music while the music flows from our flute. Good composers and music editors want that for us too. Whenever possible, they group the notes that make up a beat together. If there are 3 beats to a measure, you'll be looking for 3 groups of notes in each measure. Today, I want to imprint in your neural networks the most common rhythm patterns you'll encounter grouped together so that your sight reading of rhythm is as immediate as your note reading. I also want to give you a way of talking the rhythms. That will make rhythms easy to read, and it gives you a way to figure out how to play rhythms that are different and new to you. Let's say we're playing something with 3 beats. Saying each numbered beat out loud, we'd say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And if each beat was divided into 2 equal, smaller notes, we'd say 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now there's a new thing I want you to learn. When we see 4 equal parts in a beat, we need to have a consistent name for each part. That way we can keep track of them. We want you to use these names for the 4 parts. 1E and 1E and. In our 3 beats to a measure, we would say then 1E and 2E and 3E and. And just like we did as we learned to finger our notes, now we're imprinting neural networks to instantly recognize the common rhythms and play them in a beat. And by using the correct names for each part, you'll have a system to figure out how new or unusual beats should be played. I've shown you 3 patterns. Now I want to show you the remaining 2 common rhythm patterns. On these, you would say 1 and 1 and, or 2E and 2E and. It doesn't matter what the specific notes are. If the pattern within a beat is long with 2 shorts, or 2 shorts with a long, 1 and 2 and 3 and, or 1E and 2E and 3E and. Just remember that the type of note that's one beat, half note, quarter note, and so on, is whatever it says in the time signature. The pattern in a beat and how you say it stays the same. You'll find the beat part names very useful when puzzling how to play a rhythm that's new or unusual. Most of the time you'll be playing one of the 5 patterns I've mentioned, but there are unusual ones out there. In time, the 5 rhythm patterns will help you play faster and to glide along reading a line of music. Now we're ready to speak the rhythms of drill 16 and then to play them. Instead of an F note as shown in our books, let's get the benefit of playing our new note, high C. I'll demonstrate slowly and then again a little faster. Line 16. 1, 2, and 1 and a 2. 1 E and a 2. A 1 and 2 breath. 1 and a 2 E and 1, a 2 and a 1. 1, 2 and 1 and a 2. 1 E and a 2, a 1 and 2. 1 and a 2 E and 1, a 2 and a 1. Now, stop the video and speak line 16 at your needed speed for perfection, however slow that is. Then play it in high C's, again at the speed you need to be perfect. By the way, teaching rhythm with words is an honored musical tradition in many, many cultures. I think one of the most beautiful verbal rhythm traditions anywhere is used in India. There, the same words are used to communicate between the sitar, the drum, and the dancers. Listen to this Indian tabla drummer speaking and then playing. It's time to pencil a circle around our first 4 drills. 16, which we've been working on, 17, 18, and 19. Circle also 20, 23, and 24, 31, 34, and 35. 17, 18, and 19 are excellent drills for you to perfect your thumbing for a good high C. First, large interval leaps, then thirds and scales, and lastly in 19, a melodic approach with 7 high Cs. Listen, I'll play the drills for you. (18) (19) It's been a while since I reminded you of the components to deeply imprinting your neural networks with all the aspects of a new note. Using these, slowing way down, repeat each drill or melody till you can play it evenly without any wrong notes or hesitations before moving on to the next drill or tune. Yes, I am hitting you with a lot in this lesson. Mountain climbers don't make it to the top of Everest without a great deal of preparation in base camp. We are starting to take on the high range of our flute, notes that are sometimes played less often and may need to be remembered, or that entire passages are written in by important composers. Our goal is for you not to have to stop or turn to a fingering chart while learning a new piece of recorder music. In time, you'll own these notes and your speed will raise using them. We want to make you fearless and competent and proud. In the last lesson, I asked you to sight read on your own and work up the melody to exercise 14 in the first unit, The Girl I Left Behind Me. I'll play it now smoothly and perhaps a little fast. See if you found the feel of this tune you may have never heard before. No matter how you did, every time you take on a new piece by yourself without knowing the tune, your reading and bravery will improve. I studied with a wonderful teacher named Sybil Mandel. She said we shouldn't listen to recordings in advance of taking on new music. She wanted us to find our take on a work rather than copy what we might hear recorded. I'm making the same recommendation to you with these sight reading exercises. There is no right or wrong. We're building your sight reading and musical interpretation skills. Your next sight read is exercise 23 in our current unit by Michael Pretorius, whom we learned about back in book 1. This melody, a galote, is a dance type thought to be much like the gavotte we played, but seldom encountered and sometimes thought to even be a spelling error. Just remember it's a dance as you find your way with it. Notice the music is in the key of F in cut time. Speaking the rhythms, as we've just learned to do, will give you a head start you haven't had before. Hint, hint, the half note gets the beat. I can say no more. I'm looking forward to your take on the piece by our next lesson. Number 20, Innsbruck I Must Leave Thee, is by Henrik Eyck, a Netherlandish Renaissance composer. Netherlandish is one of the many names for a Northern European style of multi-voiced vocal music writing. You don't hear the term too often. Eyck was employed by many European cities by many employers and wrote lots of music, yet, at least to my experience, his name doesn't come up much outside of vocal music. This tune is often considered his most familiar work. The melody was later used in Lutheran hymns and by Brahms and by Bach in particular in his monumental St. Matthew's Passion. The music is in cut time in F. I'll play it for you. Now, the third line has two complex measures that get repeated in that same line. It's a tad early to expect you, as a student musician, to puzzle through playing these measures on your own. Let's look at them. There's a lot going on here. Cut time, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, dotted notes, tied notes across the bar, and in the first instance, a rest to respect. Like I said, a lot going on. Here it is again, where I've written in the verbal rhythm patterns we learned today. I've also written in some long lines where 4, perhaps foot taps might be. I learned writing in lines like that from one of the wonderful Sarah Jeffries videos here on YouTube. We never stop learning new things, and I think those lines are brilliant. You'll have no problem playing the notes. It's only the rhythm that's new, interesting, and a puzzle to solve. In time and in new music, you'll be able to do the entire process on your own. Again, the entire third line. Number 24, more fun and less challenging, is Van Eyck's Onder de Linde Groene, Under the Green Linden Tree, and don't write me about how I pronounced it. I'll play it one time through without repeats for you. Learn it, and then come back and play it here, playing both repeats. Remember, you have speed control settings. Exercises 31 and 35 are drills placed on Unit 2's last page, page 10, which is entirely made up of 6/8 time pieces. Our verbal tradition doesn't quite hold up in 6/8. What seems to work best is 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a, which I always think of as ice skating. Right and a left and a right and a left and a. I want you to get the slurs and breath marks in 31 absolutely perfect. Listen to 31 and 35. By demanding that accuracy of your brain, breath, and hands, you demand accurate recall and integration of all your skills in 6/8 time. I'm afraid I've never heard a word pattern that completely worked with dotted note rhythms as you're finding in number 35. It's a dotted pattern you'll encounter enough that you just have to go with the flow by ear and memory. But by this time, you do have the skills to do that. No matter how slow you need to go, you need to learn to play 35, slurs, breath marks, and all, again to absolute perfection. 31 and 35 are very important, enough so that our authors gave you this entire 6/8 page with drills back here instead of at the front. Here are 31 and 35. 31. $35. Normally, at the end of a lesson, we play one of the pieces in the back of our book. Not today. So, Is Icumen In was heard as the introduction to this lesson and will now be our closing piece. It's an English rota, a round for 6 parts, first put on paper in 1226, possibly by a monk at Reading Abbey in Wessex, England. That makes this the oldest such piece in existence. The original words were in Middle English as well as in Latin and celebrate the end of winter. A stone copy of the original is mounted on a wall at the ruins of the abbey. The tune is well known and very important to music history, music education, and music performance. Our authors transposed the tune for our book to fit the range of the alto recorder. Even then, I'm afraid that it doesn't have even one high C, the note we're working on. I think they included it here because the tune is in 6/8 time, which is what we're working on. Our book was written before the renewed interest in authentic performance of early music that has happened in the last 40 or so years. With that in mind, we're not going to play it as seen in your book as number 34. I'm going to return us to the original key. I'll have a copy of the music for you to play in the video as you hear the music. You're going to be able to play it instead of as a 6-part, as a 2-part, a duet, so that you can hear the beauty of the melody and the interactions of the voices. I experimented, and I just think as a duet, it's the best way to introduce you to this piece of music. The tune is enjoyable enough to play again and again. As such, without your working on it, you may find your ability to play faster improving without your trying. It's that every now and then you come across a piece like that you just play enough that it starts to increase your speed and connect the dots in your muscle memory. So play it with this recording. The recording starts and plays the first and plays through, but you'll see that there's a mark above the beginning of measure 2. When the first voice starts measure 2 and reaches that mark, start to play it from the beginning along with the recording. This canonic style is just very beautiful. Composers who create this type of a composition seem to always be exceptional. To have this piece have lasted till it's a gift for you and me is just so special. Please enjoy. Sumer is coming in. I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you very much. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.